Hello everyone! Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Here we are, halfway through December. Dun dun dun. That was interesting. Solar eclipse yesterday. Huge reversals in commodity proxies all over the place. Canadian dollar threatened to put in an outside downside key reversal. We will see whether that actually confirms or not. I do wonder whether a big part of sort of the humming and hawing is the fact that the Fed is meeting this week, today, and tomorrow. And, right now it's probably a bunch of position squaring and stuff, but we really can't make any grand decisions about the market until after the Fed announcement tomorrow afternoon. So we're kind of in this funny little no man's land vacuum right now. Could they go and break key reversal bars and stuff like that were painted sort of in that sort of we're not going to buy anything ahead of the Fed kind of environment? I kind of think so. And then, of course, as I've been barking about here for the past year, we got once in a 40-year event coming up here on the 23rd. So, could we have some just absolute insanity in prices all through this window? Absolutely. This is going to be nuts. I fully expect that the powers that be, and it's certainly not a political statement. I don't want to get pissed off political statement-wise, but I do believe that the 1% in the United States and probably even globally got what they wanted out of that November election in the U.S. And that was pretty much ratified yesterday. There's one more step, but to all intents and purposes, I think the days of Mr. Trump are over. What I'm worried about here, of course, is people are making investment decisions thinking that there's value in prices right now when, of course, you saw what they've done to the stock market here over the past 8-9 months straight up. So very, very risky environment. I have bought quite a few bearish ETF proxies over the past, say, 2 or 3 months. I've been telling you guys about them. I picked up a S&P 500 bear proxy. I picked up a Dow bear proxy. Yesterday I went and picked up a Canadian ETF proxy. Got the US dollar calls on the books. But again, Brian's usually right, but usually a bit early. I think US dollar is tanking into that FOMC announcement. And then, if I understand correctly, the US stimulus bill is coming. And my hunch is that's the catalyst that probably marks the bottom in the U.S. dollar. But we'll see. Having said that, we're getting closer and closer to TRI SOF starting to develop on some of the big currencies like the Canadian dollar. We're looking really closely at put options there. And I actually warming to the idea of actually going and maybe even doing some option purchases for puts just to juice short trade returns if the market does fall apart through 2021. So I think I've told you I bought some Bitcoin put options recently. My little trading team here in Vancouver, we've got more bids working. So actually, 12,000, 14,000 put options. I like that kind of thinking. Out into June, if we can get July, August, September, even further, great, wonderful. And for heaven's sakes, I'm not buying any of these kind of high octane risk assets up top here. I'm just shilling as they double and stuff. I'm letting them go. Interestingly, there are a few altcoins that actually look quite interesting here. But a huge public warning to the public: if you are stacking sats, you already have bitcoins, you don't really care what the current price of Bitcoin is, okay, fine. You can go in, trade your altcoin positions, banging out doubles versus Bitcoin. If you are here and you are worried about the actual capital cost of your purchases, maybe you have to go and buy some Bitcoin to actually buy these altcoins, That's asking for trouble. Don't get into the accounting of having to buy your Bitcoins at really high prices here and then seeing Bitcoin fall in half or something down the road, and you just basically are locked into a capital loss. Regardless, I mean, maybe the altcoin goes 10x and you can break even. So I don't know what your personal motivation is, but be damn careful about coming in and buying Bitcoins to buy altcoins or buying Ethereum to buy those things. This is dangerous, and probably a good idea is just to look at your asset versus the currency, US dollar, euro, yen, Canadian dollar, whatever, and maybe do some good TA off of that. Okay, so that's sort of your rant. Same sort of message I've been saying quite a bit here recently. Oh boy, Jupiter-Saturn cross. US dollar here. Still think there is December 21st. I'm not sure why I have that on there. December 23rd. That's sort of the apex event window I've been thinking about for a while here now. And then I thought it fascinating that for like crypto, OKCoin forwards expiries. Gee whiz, what a coincidence. They're on the 25th, Christmas Day. How often does the Chinese like to fuck the North Americans and Europeans on Christmas morning? If you haven't been around Bitcoin in a few years, maybe you ought to go research what price usually does through that. It can get pretty crazy. So, and then I think sort of the, this is the, oh my God, energy is absolutely insanely highest. Sort of, the octane is richest. Everything is juiced. And then I believe, and this is just crazy Brian, 27th of December is actually a celestial event that I like to consider an energy release date. And I'll be looking for some sort of resolution. Of course, this is the end of tax loss selling or tax loss buying. There's no incentive to bid prices up on any of this stuff once we get beyond this date. So then, unfortunately, I think it's actually what our sort of reality is going to start to look like under this new U.S. administration. Probably a different tax policies. And, of course, if we all listen to Klaus, we're all supposed to put on our 1984 caps and get in line. Hopefully what I've demonstrated through, and actually what I think is going to happen here, to be perfectly honest with you, is not a hell of a lot's going to change. I think the powers that be have really juiced this up, like those fuckers said, right? Don't let a good opportunity like coronavirus go to waste. That's what I think is going on here, is that these assholes are going to try and take advantage of your emotional state to try and get you to do stupid stuff with your money here. Where do I want to go? Whenever I mention close, I always get derailed. Let's just move on. So, US dollar still remains weak. That should be a risk-on proxy. Stocks are enjoying a nice dead cat bounce. Haven't busted key reversal bars here yet. Fed's meeting today. Is this maybe a buy the rumor? And we always say you can't make any decisions about the market until a full hour after the Fed announcement. And that usually happens around 11 a.m. tomorrow, my time. So that means we can't really make any decisions about any of these four guys here until basically tomorrow's close. And really, I'd also say US dollar as well. Lots of position squaring, lots of jockeying. I don't know whether I really want to get too wrapped up in the rigmarole. And if anything, kind of anecdote of end of the move, look at the small caps. I mean, they're totally blow off topping, orgy. This kind of move isn't sustainable. Don't stand in front of this. We don't have an M top here, so there's no sell signal. But classic analogy of blow off top kind of market. As for the corn, I think actually probably corn's a lot better bid than the stock market. Kind of noticed yesterday that, and I've been talking about this. The 1%, I think, juiced the stock market up to get the fuck out so that they could pay these cheap capital gains taxes for 2020. So I did notice that on any kind of sort of weakness, man, they were selling stocks hard. Get out, just sell it. I don't care. This is great prices. Just get out. Didn't really see that too much in the corn yesterday. And interestingly enough, when the market sort of settled down after the New York close, the bids started to come back into the market, and the corn took off to the upside. So not a big surprise. No sellers in the corn just yet. Sellers in stocks. This makes an interesting risk on, risk off image. Everybody's still pointing up in the risk on camp. And remember, what is it? December 23rd, still a week or two away. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Corn pushing up. Can corn break out through the top here? It was interesting. I was talking with the kids on the site today saying, there are people that are reckon themselves sharpshooters. This is a sharpshooter level now. Come in, guys that like to trade 100x leverage, right? This is the 100x leverage trade where you're going to risk maybe a little bit up top here, right? Whatever the margin call liquidation is on 100x. And if these highs hold and the market is rejected, I don't think that's the case, but, if it does happen, you look like a fucking genius. We'll see how it goes. Certainly not something that I'm interested in. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, I might be interested in doing that kind of trading. Nowadays, I don't need to prove anything to anybody. And actually, it was kind of interesting. I was joking with a guy on the site this morning. Half of your job as a market participant is actually to try and figure out what actually works best for you. Are you a position trader? Are you a day trader? Are you a swing trader? All those kind of fun things. Over the years, I was, 25 years ago, I was taught this VCIM model. And I got to tell you, man, this is the easiest way to make money. It's ridiculous. And actually, that's good to see. So you can see yesterday I was paying myself. This is my... I did this for about 3 or 4 years, and took $500, turned it into hundreds of thousands of dollars in crypto. It's the same thing in the stock market, and I'm good at it. It's what I do. So just rinse and repeat. I'll probably just keep banging out doubles for the rest of my life. But you have to have the discipline not to come in and be a buyer up here. And look at this. I even mentioned this yesterday. Why would someone buy my stock here at 225? Well, it turns out this morning somebody was willing to pay all the way up to 245 for this stock here. If they actually came to TRI and took our level 1 course, they would be like, I'm not supposed to do that, am I? Oh, well. Only time will tell. And remember, there's no right or wrong to all this. It's just, how do you make money from trading? You could buy up here if you want. You might be sitting there bag holding for quite a while. FYI. I'm kind of noticing that the stock market is kind of wavering a little bit here. And that makes sense, right? Like I said, huge cycle pivot. We're finally here. Fuck, it took forever. Political shit finally getting resolved. Took forever. COVID crisis. Technically, we have vaccines. I think I even heard people are getting vaccines now. So it's happening. That's not old news. That's not new news. That's old, right? So, we're slowly but surely, we're turning the fucking corner here. And I'll tell you, one thing that really pisses me off about our society, kind of like Klaus and that kind of shit, is through the stress here, right? The 1% is going to say things like, you know what, it's okay. You don't have to pay your rent. You don't have to pay your bills. We'll take care of you. Don't have any assets, right? In fact, we'll just set you up on this free credit thing. We'll call them central bank credits, whatever. In Canada, they call them CERB, whatever the fuck that is. And you're just basically now a welfare recipient. Once we're beyond the crisis, those bankers are going to be like, okay, people, it's pay up time. I noticed here, even in Canada, I was quite shocked that the tax man actually is going to some people that got these benefits and saying, sorry, you have to pay that back now. Which is, talk about a fucking slap in the face. God, I really dislike this leader. How ironic. My old man actually was in politics and used to fight with his father in Ottawa. And now I'm sitting here, I've got a fucking hate on for his kid. Oh man, like I said, the more things change, the more they stay exactly the same. But this idiot in Ottawa, and frankly speaking, I have to say, I think he's an idiot because back in the spring, he publicly said, look don't have any questions. We'll take care of you. And the critics were going, what is this? This is insanity. What are you doing? And now all of a sudden it's like, oh no, well, it turns out that we aren't going to take care of you. And I was just bullshitting you. And it turns out you got to pay it all back. You think I don't know. Oh, this crazy world. Can't win. It almost makes you want to just, pick up. I'll go to my tropical island. I've got the internet now, right? And so I can just trade off of my tropical island and forget about these silly countries. And oh, by the way, for the record, I am actually bearish of Canada, Australia, Russia, South Africa, and any other commodity country you want to throw in there. I'm bearish of these countries for the next 15 to 20 years. And I got a funny feeling by the end of all this, I don't even know whether Canada, the country itself, will even exist because technically it's completely bankrupt. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Wow, there's a rant. Certainly wasn't expecting that to come out of my mouth. Anyway, where was I? Risk on. Risk on. Risk on. Oh, even oil's even catching a bid. Gold sniffing that as inflation. Actually, I had a great conversation with the kids today about the gold-silver ratio. This silver is looking pretty interesting here. I'm not so bullish of gold, and over the long term, I think gold will probably have to clean itself up a bit. But silver sure looks interesting. I'll probably be talking a little bit more about silver ideas in the weeks ahead. We'll see how all this stuff acts after the end of the year. So I get the impression, just looking at it from this, you can see risk on, risk on, risk on. Actually, it's interesting how there seems to be a rotation out of technology stocks. I actually kind of like that thinking because I'm actually long a lot of sort of, insurance stocks and industrial stocks, manufacturing and stuff. So hopefully that'll do well. That's usually not the screen we talk of. Here we are. So Fed's meeting. I have to see what happens tomorrow, whether this is actually all believable or not. And you might look at this right now and go, "Woo, that's a bull, fucking A!" And then at the end of tomorrow, there's a big fucking red candle. You'll only know that this really is a bull if we actually close out above this old high level there. Then you'll know, okay, yep, this thing's a rockin' bull. So. You can see the corn's pointing higher. Small caps are pointing higher. Don't get in front of this market here today. That's for sure. And actually interesting, this bot here probably will paint the levels that we should be thinking about. I've told you guys about levels, though, recently, so I don't think it's too outlandish. This particular bot didn't really give a very good entry here, and that happens. I mean, it's trader's life. There's 50% of the move. 66 is a tag of the old highs. And, of course, there's 100% way up there. I like the idea of a push up top here. And, of course, we've got Jupiter. Oh, there it is. Actually, that's 27th. I think 23rd. There we go. So, a push up into this window here. Completely logical. Logical. That's probably not the right word. Realistic. That's probably the way I would say it. We're talking day trader levels in the daily brief today. You can see how day traders got a little signal there to get in. So probably going to push up against this gain angle. Remember we talked about that? That was a total liquidity trap right there. That top, if you see a top put in on Bitcoin through the weekend, be careful. It's probably a trap. Probably now that we got a bit of a head of steam behind us and we're ahead of the Fed, you probably see this thing go up and tag 20 G's. But certainly nothing for me to do right here. It's too small of a time frame. I do also like, we got Gann angles, we got Feigenbaum levels, this A, B, C, D, huge bull flag pull. And there's the 21, 22,000. And that really talks to, these kind of studies. Big celestial events, big honking higher time frame levels. And also, where the hell is it? Oh, hope I didn't get rid of it. That weekly objective all up in there. I like that. And I mean, you see, voom, 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 voom. It's probably going to be very similar. Mm-hmm. So that, this low was, what does that say? About $1,000 or, excuse me, holy hiccups, $1,000 we'll say. So, it's about 19 G's. So, hell, even if you go off of this low there, 31 plus 19 should be 22, right? So there's 21.8, there's 22.1. Makes sense. Boom, 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 boom. And you're done. So that's pretty much what I see going on here. And I don't think it's anybody's best interest to step in front of this right now. I mean, I said, traders got to trade all those slick ricks, 100x leverage against these highs. It might pay off. Who knows? But definitely not a trade I would be doing. And I do like, let's push up into this area here. Seems totally logical. I said logical again. Holy moly. None of this is logical. All right, moving on. Risk on, risk on, risk on, risk on, risk on. I think it shouldn't surprise us. We're probably going to see a bid on poop coins. Kind of underperforming the corn. And we had a nice conversation in the Daily Brief about anticipation of Bitcoin dominance through this event. I find it fascinating, right? Jupiter, Saturn cross. Okay, coin, futures expiry. EVU energy release date. I got a funny feeling. We're coming into some big apex event here. So, you see the spreads. They're all over the place right now. This market could get absolutely fucking insane right now. I mean, you heard me talk about Foggenbaum and these coils, these building up of energies. I mean, this could get just nuts through here. At the same time, too, though, we're not really seeing. There's the outperformance out of the corn. Ethereum, I suppose. Litecoin's barely moving. Big fat doji. So I think, this is really more a conversation about what the corn's doing as a proxy in crypto than sort of individual fundamental drivers. My hunch is if the corn just keeps ripping here, it's going to just drag these things up with them. But the corn is leading, not lagging here. And then, just finish off this conversation. We've been talking about stink bids on DeFi names. Look like they're just fucking kicking ass here. So, I'm just in there accumulating. This is the time of year you should be accumulating venture cap. And, I just, go and load up my bags. In fact, there's one name here. I spent a lot of time in the Daily Brief talking about Algorand. It's just such a cliche of what I do. Bottoms come in, sell abs on doubles, let the market come back down, we'll let the bottoms come in again, we'll reload and do it all again. How many cars can we build up? Free positions do we do before this thing goes absolutely apeshit and then we have to cash in big time at like 10x, 100x, whatever. And keep in mind, these things, they got a ton of room up top to go. And there's one after another, after another, after another. So, the bottom line here is, they always say, buy when it snows, sell when it goes. So look out your window. What time of year is it? I suppose if you live in the southern hemisphere, you just had, you looked out your window yesterday and it was pitch black. What the fuck? But, very simply put, I think that there are some really good ideas in the altcoin space, the venture cap part of the cryptocurrency space, but you have to be very, very careful. Nanny nibbles buying Bitcoin to go in any nibble on altcoins right now is not a good idea. You have to be fairly well established. If you are flipping these altcoins, ideally what I want to hear is you're stacking sats. You want more Bitcoin. And then, if you are playing the individual story itself, for God's sakes, look at the individual story itself versus US dollar, versus euro, versus Canadian dollar. And if the setup doesn't look pristine, maybe just let it slide. Okay, I think that's about all the ranting I want to do today. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got some good value. Got a TRISOF meeting tonight, Tuesday, so super stoked to get together with all the OGs. Talk levels, charts, setups, TRISOFs, all that kind of fun stuff. And that means we should have a cool summary report from Kevin for you tomorrow as well. All right, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day. All the best, and bye for now.